This is Kessben 93.3 FM, a new wave of excellence in radio.
Na nsema amanfo de bae ni na bomodi se ombetimi a church Roma dwen krankrade afa ho me ko Awal Mohammed ho na Awal ye sha sefru.
Okay, Seju obi bisa say Kotoko the last time mo call away e call we wa Africa first leg no second leg ni kusi say me kai under Siki Akono that one mo enter group stages of the CAF Confederations Cup no Kotoko e ko share Cotton Sport de Garua ewa we 3-2 second leg no ewa ha Kotoko ebe we need 2-1 and Mekai that was near Maxwell Bakun share one of the tuning goals e ko ndi 2-1 even though Kotoko conceded in both goals no but they won. Obiensu bisa say how often that Kotoko concedes some more home ewa Africa Seju last 2 home games in a competitive African game Kotoko abonyina they conceded and nyina were at the Accra Sports Stadium. Kotoko conceded 1-0 against Al Hilal. Kotoko conceded in that 2-1 loss no against ES Setif. After say Kotoko take lead no through a penalty. After say Kotoko take lead no through Kwame Opoku. Kotoko say penalty through Nabikita no. And one of the things hapa even osa tinimu de ko ni CK Akono mo de that squad no go into the group stages no. Yes, Kotoko did not concede against Kariobangi Sharks. But in the second leg against Cotton Sport de Garua, Kotoko won 2-1, but they conceded. In the group stage, they conceded in the first game of Moboy home, Babayara. That was that 2-1 win against Esco United. They didn't concede in that 3-0 win against Nkana, but they conceded in that match and now Kotoko here win to make it to the next stage of the competition, which was the one against Al Hilal, Walid Beckett, Ebeshe Dagono. And I think one of the things that Kotoko must guard against as they come face to face against Rain Club de Kadiogo Omofri Burkina Faso. So recently Kotoko me concede some goals, so it's one thing that they need to guard against. Say the beya omuma and kofone enshegu no motimi anya the better of the result no ako into the next stage of the competition. That brings me to Kotoko against West African neighbors nowadays. Say yo o the team the call even from 2007 eba mekai a team from Gambia Port Authority Kotoko Frim Obekai in 2010 ASC Linguère from Senegal. Then time near Bane Kotoko ewa Babayara. After that Kofi Koja incident no Kotoko ewa Accra. Kotoko conceded 2-0 away. Kotoko won 2-0 at Accra Sports Stadium but lost through post-match penalties. Ubia enrefi adia see when Barak Young controllers BYC from Liberia. After say Kotoko isho mu 2-1 ewa ha Seydou Banse 2 goals no Kotoko went away and lost 1-0 and omodi away goal no Kotoko. The last one was also San Pedro. So a trail say of the recent years West African neighbors na titina to de bia omuntimi Kotoko apart from a second Kadiogum omo Kotoko efimo. Nowadays omutimi Kotoko. It's one of the things Kotoko must try as much as possible to guard against that complacency. Kotoko can take that solace from what happened against Dolphins from Nigeria, against Wiki Tourists from Nigeria, Obesa Kai against Kano Pillars. And also see and just some 2-3 years ago. So these are West African neighbors Kotoko but they're also West African neighbors Omusutimi Kotoko pa. So Kotoko must try as much as possible and guard against that complacency. Sejo Binsu bisa say Benadomboti wabo AFCON pen amaganada. Sejo, the answer is no. Adia wakoda a CHAN tournament, which was 2011 under the late Herbert Adu. Wabra ko ewo Sudan. That is the only ebia AFCON Obeka said Domboti akwa but eno ya CHAN but enye main AFCON no. And Sejo, it's one of the surprising things. Domboti enyo no kwa Chastela kura more AFCON maganada. And Sejo, very very surprising based on bo mababe bo ewo Ghana football lo hejuma omababe dipa edin omwaji how they've helped Accra Suffolk winning the Champions League with Chastela, winning the CAF Confederations Cup with Domboti, and Ohe Junior tournament Omabobo Chastela won the 23 da And that even though a part of the under 20 team are here beko Argentina, unfortunately the late Emmanuel Kwasia Frania Fananko Dombote no katu 1999 New Zealand team na call under 17 ewo New Zealand mekai under the late Cesar Junto Atuko. These players have played so well for their local teams, but on the national side so ubehu omo Africa no say you and see that one of the things very surprising. So apart from that, Vincent Abubakar Nsemno said you Nipakoni bisa say an African club, an African national team be Ashe Brazil dana said you it happened only once pay, and that is the only goal Samuel Oteo scored in that 1-0 win against Brazil or the FIFA Confederations Cup 2003. Said you that tournament that unfortunate incident Mark Vivien Foy Mark Vivien Foy ewuye in that tournament when Cameroon were playing Colombia in the semi-finals. So that happens to be the only gamer an African team, an African national team be Ashe Brazil. In the World Cup, no crowd said, "Yo, say bet 20 na crowd na heading." Until 2010, it was South Africa and a Didier Drogba share, and then 2014 subsequently, it was Brazil, Cameroon. So, Etiomoka 4-1 na Brazil shomo Joel Matip share no. In 1986, Algeria conceded defeat to Brazil. 1994, Cameroon lost 3-0 against Brazil. In 1998, Morocco lost 3-0 against Brazil in a group game. And which was that 3-0 in the round 16th game. Share 3-0. Ronaldo mo any Adriano ni 0 bet to mo share no. So say African nations share Brazil pa. And in 2010 it was South Africa. So same Brazilians who share the Les Elephants de la Côte d'Ivoire 3-1 before the 2014 one. It was Brazil wa bro moves to share Cameroon 4-1. So African teams ankasa ya na yentimi Brazil even to beat them kra na akoyasem. Say you bin su bisa say ye wo coach a waji Champions League ni World Cup abumda say you bin sida. Even World Cup kra say you Vittorio Pozzo of Italy. Onon kwa na aji World Cup no mpreduduo mienu. Apart from that, the rest of the coaches omoji World Cup ni nyina ye bako. Vittorio Pozzo NRG in 1934 wabra Italy hosti, and 4 years later in 1938 wabra France hosti. So enon kwa Champions League there. And one thing says there are some coaches they are baby omo comfort zone national team. They don't often take charge when it comes to club sides. The same also applies to some of the coaches. Also, club coaching than national team. Okay. So, no nema de bia ubeu se yenya those we na ubeu se situation ubeu se coach bi a coach we no asawe nim. So we been see that.
Okay. The question was, has a coach at the World Cup and has won the Champions League?
You been see that?
No. Listen to the question again. Who won the World Cup in 2010 for Spain? Vicente Del Bosque. He has won the Champions League. Macholo Lippi has won the World Cup. He has won the Champions League. Clearly, the question was a coach.
Good, Anna.
No. The question was, maybe I want to question and see. Why not Aji World Cup as a coach? As Aji Champions League da.
As why?
Coach Bay. And Aji Champions
League. 3 1 more trophies.
Yes.
And number 2. Waji Champions League Asanji World Cup one coach.
Yes. Okay. And I'm saying that.
And then number 3 Osai good.
And I'm saying that the first one. Yes. So Vicente Del Bosque for Spain.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid time Omoji Champions League Zidane a ball. Cesar he was the coach.
Okay.
Marcello Lippi won the Champions League for Juventus and he won the World Cup for Italy in 2006. So we have 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you be say national team omutimi bon mo de but ya na omuntimi win World Cup. Say you there are some of them who, for example, the team from the mighty Magyars of Hungary in 1954. Before the World Cup, they've won Olympic Games in 1952, and they were one of the greatest sides. Among four here ni Musa Mubetimi abon momodin. In 1938, Hungary the losing finalist World Cup. wabra omo lose against Italy. So by that time they know team ne picky beating South Korea 9-0 in group, beating the likes of Brazil mu omo show bia, but West Germany omo show mu 8-3 e the group stages no. Sejo could do finals no West Germany e show mu. Sejo report bi by in 2010 one journalist bi ekoye report bi say the German players no they were duped. I say omo fa enuboni a ebe mo omo stamina a omo tumi awini. Another example had the Brazil of 1982 team ane wo Falcao, Zico, Socrates mo. Say yo defensively no monye good. They expose mo big time and they couldn't win the World Cup. Also the West Germany tournament 1974 wabra Dutch team of 1974 Holland you know. So yo that was the time total football came into the fray. And now yenya teams from Holland are winning Champions League continuous because na Feyenoord winning 1970 and Ajax eba winning 71 72 73. Now the nucleus of that Dutch team no in that year no Sejo where teams are winning Champions League but a could do final no they didn't win. And Sejo these are the great teams. Some of them they defensively they were weak. And some of them complacency, some of them so say you a typical example of maybe now they couldn't have their day. That 1998 Brazil squad they lose against France, they say you it was a great Brazilian team, but now they didn't have their day, and the French team on that day were quite better than them. So you apart from I think say I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I think say I'm done.
All right, Mami.